Hello everyone and welcome to the demo of Invizimals: The Lost Kingdom. If you're familiar with Invizimals, well, that's good, but none of those other games are relevant here.
Seriously, boss, they're robots. Extractor industry robots from Earth.
It's all making sense now, Hiro. Extractor Industries are promising the world invisible energy.
So they're stealing invisible energy. But the Invizimals, their world, it's all made of energy. They'll destroy it all.
I realize this, Hiro. We need to know how Extractor are planning to get the energy back.
Through a shadow gate, duh.
But you can't transport energy through a shadow gate, Hiro. So how do they plan on doing it?
You know, for a second there, I thought I'd outsmarted the boss. I'll find out what I can. Speak to you soon.
The story is very Saturday morning cartoonish, but, you know, at least they try to give it a little depth, make you ask questions about it. So we can play as many different characters, or Invizimals as it were. Each of them have their own abilities, but we're going to play as Shang Mao, because Shang Mao, well, he has the longest reach, and we're going to be hitting a lot of stuff. We'll definitely be using the other Invizimals for the platforming segments because they're necessary, but the big beefy panda guy, he's our go-to bruiser.
The extractors have been dumping toxic waste into the swamp. Seriously, Hiro, do not try and go swimming around here.
So basically everything is a bottomless pit and don't jump into it. As I said, all of the Invizimals have abilities which can be used both for puzzles and for combat. This is a puzzle. We solved it. This game is really basic, no-brainer stuff, really. But we can upgrade our characters, so it's not completely without depth. We just got our first heavy attack. The heavy attack should not be confused with a special attack. It only does slightly more damage than our regular punches. Some heavy attacks do have special properties, but this one just hits a little bit harder. The enemies telegraph their attacks, well, a lot. They take forever to hit you. That's probably why there's so many of them. It's not exactly hard to die, which I was a little surprised by. But they do take a while to telegraph their attack, so if you get hit, it's really your own fault. There's a pretty decent balance between, you know, making sure that the game is accessible enough for kids, but making sure that you're not super bored during the fighting. The game asks you to rapidly switch between Invizimals a lot, but that doesn't really require any thought on your part. You just press triangle in the appropriate area and it does it all for you. You seem to be able to upgrade the characters with startling frequency. There's a lot of experience just lying around all over the place. You do have to choose which heavy attack you want, though it's hardly a difficult choice. Each one is stronger than the last. But as I was saying, you do have to switch between Invizimals a lot, but none of the things you switch to them for are particularly engaging. Like, you've seen sections like the one I just did where you climb vines a lot. You know, you've probably played platformers before. So, the game has variety in a technical sense, in the sense that you switch between characters a lot, but there's no depth to the sections that require switching. Everything is very automated as far as the platforming goes. All of the interactivity comes from the combat, and the punching of boxes. If you've played early 3D action games and you miss punching open boxes to get things that pop out, well, this game has a lot of that. We have two paths we can go here, but we're going to go the optional one first, or else the level would be over too quickly. And hey, we just got our first actual special attack. This is one of the Chupacabra's abilities. Basically, it's quick-time events that get you from one place to another. Now about that special attack we just bought. It can pretty much devastate normal enemies. We took out the guy with the gun with our special attack because he has a gun, you know? He's important to get rid of first. And our new heavy attack launches enemies into the air. which, you know, distracts them for a little bit. So we're going to distract that big guy and deal with the tiny guys around us. So yeah, there's some depth to the combat. You have to use your special and heavy attacks appropriately, or else you're going to get ganged up on and you'll die. It's basic stuff, but again, they could have done a lot worse, considering the age group this game is targeted at. This door needs a certain amount of Z-Sparks to open, which were the things we were just collecting, but of course there's not enough of them in the demo to actually open the door.
That's a pup idol. Collect all the idols of one type and you'll gain a new pup for the battle arenas. There seems to be quite a few thermal blocks around here. If you push one onto a vent, then you'll be able to use it to glide into the air.
The game has a bad habit of telling you what to do, even when what you're supposed to do is really obvious. I mean, the pushy block had glowing sparks all over it and everything. So this is the Chupacabra's second ability. He can glide, which is good, because those wings have to be for something. And now let's go that pathway we didn't before. So another mechanic to the climbing sections is that we can jump from one vined area, I know these aren't vines, but one vined area to another. But we really just have to mash the X button. There's no timing involved, you can just press X as rapidly as you want and the game won't really punish you for it. Again, you really have to pay zero attention during the platforming sections. It's very, very automated. They got it all figured out for you, don't worry about it. We now have enough experience to buy our last heavy attack. And of course, we're going to equip it as well, otherwise what is the point?
The extractors seem to have added a system of vents to channel the swamp gases. If you use John Mao's strength to push one of those special thermal blocks onto a vent, then you'll be able to use them to glide into the air.
This game is really all about telling you how to do stuff you already know how to do. Let's switch back to Zhang Mao for what is the last combat section in the level, unfortunately. It's all very scripted platforming from here on out. These purple plants heal us. They're actually not very abundant, so it is pretty easy to die, which I was surprised by. Do you remember the 6-axis controls? Somehow these people did, and you have to balance Hero on this beam using the motion controls. I completely forgot the 6-axis was even a thing.
Ice Lion! I encountered Ice Lion while trying to carry out captures in the Arctic Circle a few years ago. They are awesome creatures with such incredible strength, it beggars belief. By nature, and much like polar bears, they are lonesome creatures, savage by nature, but truly a sight to behold. Should I be reincarnated and sent to the Invisimal world, this is the Invisimal I would most like to be.
I love that guy. Whoever he is, and however much he got paid to say that, he didn't get paid enough. I would like that man to narrate my existence. You punch a lot of boxes. There are a lot of boxes to punch. The developers of this game have made several very orthodox 3D platformers in the past, with very simple mechanics that do not often require you to think too much. I think this continues that trend for the most part. So hey, we got a new Invisimal, or so you would think, but it's actually just an alternate skin for one we already have. It's just as well though, because if we did get a new Invisimal, well, we wouldn't have enough time to use it. The demo's pretty much over. And hey, we're back here. We may as well use our new, well, almost new, Invisimal to move this block around. By process of elimination, you've probably figured out that this is the path that leads to the end of the level. As completely average as the rest of this demo was, I do like the idea of alternate pathways in a platformer slash beat-em-up. Even if the platforming part of the platformer slash beat-em-up is not very interactive. I probably will play the full game sometime, it's just not something I'm going to go rush to get. So that's Invizimals: The Lost Kingdom. The demo makes it seem incredibly average, though it's not entirely void of value.